Hello everyone, this is Jason with a virtual Curious Kids today. Today we are going to talk about the Earth, and in particular the layers of the Earth. So if this is our Earth, just the Earth is just a big ball. But if you cut into the Earth, you'll see that it has layers. In particular as 5 layers. The very middle layer, this white layer, hopefully you can see that, is called the inner core. Then the yellow layer, if you can see that, I hope, is called the outer core. Then the red layer is the mantle. And this black layer, which is hard to see because it's really thin, that is called the crust. And then we just have the outside of the Earth, which is the water and the land. I didn't put any land on my model. It's just all water. But you can see kind of how the Earth would look if you cut a big chunk out of it to the middle of the Earth. And these are the layers of the Earth. So today we're going to do a project where we put our own little Earth with the layers of the Earth together. So you'll need some construction paper. I used brown, red, orange, yellow, blue, and green. If you don't have construction paper, you can just color the paper. Use white paper and color it. So the first layer we're going to talk about is this white layer, which is called the inner core. And in our model that we're going to make, which you'll see how it's going to work in a little bit, we're going to use the yellow paper. So the inner core, it's about 758 miles. That's the radius. So it's super long. That's from one side of the circle to the other. Would be about 1,500 miles. So that's super long, super big. The inner core is about 4,000 miles below the Earth's surface. So it's really deep into the Earth. 4,000 miles. It's made up of iron and nickel. So it's made up of metal. And the core spins a little bit faster than the rest of the planet. And it's also very, very hot. It reaches almost 9,800 degrees, which is almost the surface of the sun. So the middle of the Earth is almost as hot as the sun. So that's a little bit about the inner core. Then you have the outer core, which is the next layer. We're going to use orange, and in our little Earth model, it's the yellow. So the outer core is also made up of iron and nickel, but it's not solid, it's liquid. So it's kind of like lava. It's about 2,000 to 3,000 miles below the surface. It's heated, but it's light. It's radioactive heat because of a couple of elements called uranium and thorium. Thorium, I think is how you say it. And this is the layer that creates the electrical currents in the Earth. And it's also the layer that causes the Earth to have its magnetic fields. And for some reason, about every 200,000 to 300,000 years, the magnet poles shift. They change places. So Right now the north is at the north and the south is at the south, but every once in a while those poles will switch. Scientists don't know why. The next part of the Earth is our mantle, which in our model we'll use red. And in this model we also used red. So that's the mantle. It's a little closer. It's only about 2,000 miles below the surface. And it's about 2,000 miles thick. I'm sorry, it's about 18 miles below the surface, and it's about 2,000 miles thick. So it's not as thick as the other surfaces so far, but it is also made up of iron and magnesium. And it says it's kind of like a caramel substance. And again, it is hot, and it's sort of solid, sort of liquidy on this surface, and that's the mantle. And just to clarify, the mantle is about 2,000 miles thick, and it's only about 18 to 19 miles beneath the surface. Then we have our crust. And our crust is just simply the dirt and ground that we play on and walk on. It's kind of like the substance of kind of a hard-boiled egg, it says. It's very, very thin compared to the other layers, and it's kind of cold and brittle compared to the other layers. And it's made up of aluminum and oxygen, and it runs on the land and in the water, and that's the ground that's on the bottom of the ocean is the crust. And the crust is only about 18 to 40 miles thick. So the crust is the thinnest layer of our layers. So that's a little bit about the layers of the Earth. So what we're going to do is now I'm going to show you how we make our little model. So first thing you need to do is, if you have blue and brown construction paper, is cut 2 circles out the same size. And I've already done that, as you can see. Then cut a red circle out that's a bit smaller than your brown circle, so you have edges there. Then do the same thing with your orange paper. Make it a bit smaller than your red paper. And then make a small circle with your yellow paper and put on top. And now you have the layers of the Earth. Then simply take your blue paper and put on top, and take a little brat or something to stick these together. So start with your blue, then go with your yellow, your orange, your red, put your red on there. I'm having trouble with the red. And then your brown. So you'll have circles like this, and your blue will cover all this up. So then what you do, you just cut a little triangle section out of your blue, and you got something that looks like this. Then take your green paper and make some land to put on your Earth. I made North America and South America, Australia and Antarctica down here. But then it shows you the layers of the Earth. So you have the yellow layer, which is your inner core, the orange layer, which is your outer core, the red layer, which is your mantle, and then the brown layer, which is the crust, or the layer that we walk on. And there you have it. So you can do a model like this, or if you want to do a model like this, you can get some molding clay or some Play-Doh and start with one color and just roll it in a ball. Then go to the next color and wrap it around your ball. Then the next color and just keep wrapping it around until you get all the layers. And then you'll have something like I have here. So again, the earth is not just one layer. It's a bunch of layers that get hotter and thicker as you go down to the center of the earth. So I hope you learned a little bit today. I hope you enjoy this, and we'll see you next time. Bye.